starting this one on the 11th row in the 2-4-7. And his weekend has just been fraught with disasters. Yesterday, he had the coming together at turn 1. And again, it just didn't go his way. Some more wildcards out there. Alex Martinez, another driver on the Kart Republic chassis. Now, he's actually been a surprise through this weekend. He's been up at the sharp end. And we've been seeing his very multicolored liveried karts coming through the field at various points. And again, it just shows there's been a real shake-up all the way throughout the field. It's like it's gone topsy-turvy. And do we put it on, you know, the track? It's a new track for a lot of these drivers. Do you reckon that could be the thing for it?
It's definitely a factor that you have to consider. It's really nice to see the wild cards that know the circuit quite well, like Alex Martinez, like Dan Dalakian, really making a real play here compared to the established talents. It's really nice that, you know, the wild cards really can mix it with the established guard. And I think you're going to see that a lot this year. When we go to the steel ring, there are going to be a few drivers from the Czech Republic, from Poland, that are going to give it a go as well. And they will want to try and run up the front. And because they have the knowledge of the circuit that the drivers regularly don't, they're going to have that opportunity. When we get to Rodby, you can expect a few of the Danish talents to rock up and try and give it a go in the European Championship, try and take it on. And in Cremona, we're going to see quite an amazing raft of drivers who are going to give the final round of the European Championship a go, just to see where they are level. And it could be also a good warm-up for the World Championship for a few drivers that will want to try and take that one on. So could be an interesting season of watching wildcards really mix it at the front. And certainly this weekend, when you see how strong Marius Barryberg's been, when you see how good Alex Martinez has been, when you see how good Dan Dalakian has been, it does kind of give drivers a bit of confidence. You know, you can be a wild card and you can still mix it towards the front.
Yes, indeed. Alexander Bonarev there on your screens for the Kart Republic team, focused and dialed in, ready to get this race underway. And you think, starting on the outside row, we've seen it work way more this weekend than we have in others here at Valencia. The outside line has been a tricky one for drivers, hasn't it?
It really has, but there's been a handful who can make it work, and Bondarev has definitely been one of those who can hold it round the outside, can give himself a little bit more of a strong start. As long as you only lose maybe 1 or 2 places maximum, you've still got a great chance in the race, and Bondarev has never had a bad start from the outside line. He's always got himself into a good enough position to challenge. So that's going to be an interesting factor coming into this as well. Tame Saleh and Alexander Bondarev, front row of the starting grid. So this will be fascinating to observe as they get their way out onto the circuit once again. Let's talk you through the grid. Tame Saleh and Alexander Bondarev, Nicholas Schaufler and Lewis Werrell, Selim Hanna and Christian Costoya, Marius Barryberg and Scott Lindblom, then Noah Montero and Dan Dalakian, Noah Wolf and Stepan Antonov, Gerazim Skudanov and Alex Martinez from Roman Kamyab and Marianito, Augustus Toniolo and Oliver Kinmark from Tiziano Monza and Arjen Kraling, then Alp Aksoy and Sandro Perez, Filippo Sala and David Kozma, Meryl Peldes and Raul Thantharan, Jensen Burnett and Nikita Nikishov, Jensen Burns, Louis Cochet, Kit Belowski, Sebastian Mins, Matt Corby, Jarrett Clark, Luca Horton and Jason Browning, and it's happened again.
Oh, no.
It's happened again for the juniors this time. Getting out of the pits with this weaving of the tyres has been quite tricky and quite problematic, but this time everybody's getting out. But it means that it's going to be a potential third formation lap, I would think.
Again, this surprises me. We've already had more than 30 races so far, plus warm-ups, plus everything like that, and it's been absolutely fine. Twice in a row now, that's happened, where the pit lane has become lodged full of karts. And yeah, again, it's not been an issue.
It's a tough weekend. It wasn't a problem 2 weeks ago. The fact that it is a problem now is a bit of an unusual one, and I think people are going to be quick to point fingers here, but just read this situation for what it is. Don't read too much into it. It's just nerves. You know, the tension is going to be quite high. Drivers are trying their best to get themselves up to speed. So essentially, the leaders of the pack now, look, Tame Saleh and Alexander Bondarev are doing exactly what they should be doing now. They are slowing the field up quite early to allow the rest of the field the chance to come through. Here's a replay. And look, it's drivers trying to weave and get up to speed, and they've just clouted the barrier.
Yeah.
They've clouted those tyres trying to get through. And it's just a tricky situation. The problem is a lot of the mechanics now have had to help their driver get started past the white line. So what does that do?
Yeah, does that bring in the question mark there that half the grid's going to get a penalty?
Good question. Yeah, really good question. So now we just have to go into the race start and see how it all squares out. But for the drivers who got caught out, their race effectively starts now in the attempt to try and catch up to the rest of the field. But fortunately, Team Soleil and Alexander Bondarev have done exactly the right thing. They backed the field up halfway around the second formation lap, not even halfway, and that's given the rest of the field the chance to catch up. So we may need to go for another formation lap, but I think we'll only need to go for one more, as Soleil and Bondarev have done exactly the right thing. Mature decision-making there from the two juniors on the front row of the grid to try and get this race started.
Very much so. The rest
now
of
they're going to go around again.
Yeah, they are. Oh, and
hang on a minute.
Some of them choosing to take the chicane.
That's odd. That's bizarre. Some of them going around the long way, some of them taking the chicane.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Pasquale Lupoli will register that. I think that'll be a benefit of the doubt moment.
I think, do I take it or do I not? It's, what are we doing? But technically, for the race start, they hadn't started the race yet. So
True.
They should have gone around that as per the driver briefing. But again, that's,
semantics at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. Is it the Sunday feeling? Is it the weather? Is it something in the water? What's happened today?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to have quite as dramatic a debut in the FA European Championship, DJ.
They've certainly made it interesting for me. I'll give them that. Thank you very much.
That'll be one you'll remember for a long time. Oh, dear, oh, dear. So, Team Soleil, Alexander Bondarev running around in the front end of the field for this one. Schaeffler and Werrell, Hanna and Costoya, Barryberg and Lindblom, Montero and Dalakian. And then it is Noah Wolf from Stepan Antonov. What a comeback he's made from the back of the grid. He's right in the thick of it. He could get himself a top 10 starting position for the final, and then all bets are off. If Stepan Antonov is as quick as we think he's going to be and he starts in the top 10, Ramekers might have to run scared.
Well, yes, again, but again, Antonov has had to fight through the field all the way through yesterday, didn't he? So he's had to use those tyres quite significantly. Are they still in a good position here now? Is he going to be okay? Let's find out. This is looking good. In towards the final corner. Let's go racing, please.
That would be nice. Soleil and Bondarev coming off the final turn together. Schaeffler, Werrell, Hanna Costoya, Barryberg and Lindblom. And we are going to go racing next time. Next time round. Another formation lap is called. Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. We've got to get there. This is the European Championship. We'll get there eventually. But Team Soleil and Alexander Bondarev take us round one more time, with Schaeffler, Werrell, Hanna, Costoya, Barryberg and Lindblom at the sharp end of the field. It does give us a little bit more time to talk about a few drivers that could really make a play here.
Yeah.
We've talked about Stepan Antonov. I want to give a shout out to Maria Nito. She's had great pace all the way through, and I think despite that third sector that dropped off a little bit in the Friday qualifying session, she could have been pole position overall. So I don't think you can count her out yet.
There was a few hiccups yesterday, of course, as well. Obviously, like we heard it from drivers yesterday also, that, if you do have, if you crash out, your tyres are a little bit better because you've saved them, you've not used them as much. So there is that benefit to Maria as well. But again, we'll just see what she can do.
That's a good point. There are a few drivers who are in that position. So if you look through the tail end of the field, they'll have better tyres than the drivers up at the front. You've got the likes of Aksoy, you've got the likes of Perez, you've got the likes of Filippo Sala. What are we seeing a replay of on the start? Just a few drivers out of position, I think. That was the replay of that one. But who else is down at the back? We've got Ralph Tharden, who has good tyres, or better tyres perhaps. Jensen Burnett, the Canadian, he could charge through. So that's worth picking up on. Sebastian Mins could charge through. He's had a nightmare weekend. I think he's failed to finish 2 of the races. So if he's looked after his tyres the rest of the time, he could charge forward. And now we go racing, up to the start. Team Soleil. Oh, Barryberg's on the grass. He manages to save it, but he's lost about 7 places to do that. Round the outside goes one of the Forzas, getting back into the mix again. But up front, it's Soleil from Schaeffler. 4th position is Bondarev. He's had to let Salim Hanna go through, but he's only lost 2 places. That's consolidation for Bondarev, and he's already going to be trying to go for the 3 drivers up front, but we have got a relatively clean start despite Barryberg going on the grass. He has got it back on again, and this time we complete the first sector without too much incident. Here comes the move from Hanna to get through on the inside of Schaeffler. Schaeffler keeps him honest and holds it. Here comes Bondarev up the inside of Salim Hanna, and he's going to go for Schaeffler as well. 2 into 1. Alexander Bondarev through to second, just like Ramekers.
Yeah, carbon copy of Ramekers on the first lap earlier on as well. Nice little move there as down the inside. One of the Forza drivers, that Lewis Werrell, making moves. It is indeed. Not able to do it, though, in towards the final chicane, but he's crucially got in front of Schaeffler. So Schaeffler now falling down the order a little bit here. He's under pressure from the parallel behind as well. of Kostoya. So Kostoya with a opportunity here to get up into a few positions. Let's keep an eye on the big movers out there. Sebastian Min's up 8 positions now. Filippo Sala 6 positions gained as well.
Well, Kaczynski is in pole position no matter what happens, so this is the race to see who joins him on the front row of the grid. Saleh's got a good chance of it. Bondarev, now that he's in second place, can try and overtake Saleh and drop him back into the path of the likes of Ramikas and Drummond in the point standings. There's Montero trying to defend from Scott Lindblom, whilst also going on the offensive of Christian Kostoya in the Paranin in front of him. So as they work their way through, still a very strong start here in the OK Junior SuperHeat B. Roman Kamyab trying to make up progress in behind Marius Barryberg, fastest first sector of anybody. Then Lewis Werrell, fastest second sector of everybody. Look at how quickly Bondarev and Hanna are closing up on Tame Saleh. It's game on, lap 2 done, 9 to go.
Yep, this is going to be a good race here to the end as Werrell dives down the inside of Salim Hanna there, moves up into P3 now. He'll be happy with that one and now can go on the chase towards Bondarev, and you can see now how condensed they are. It's not a breakaway at all as Bondarev is all over the back of Tame Saleh. Might go for a move into this next right-hander.
Here he goes.
Yes, he does. Thank you very much. Oh, and he loses 2. He loses 2 positions, maybe even 3. Can Salim Hanna go through?
Saleh round the outside, holds on in front of Salim Hanna. That was brave, and now Lewis Werrell's up to second. Saleh trying to go with him. Schaufler around the outside, now trying to tuck in for the inside line. They're battling so much that Bondarev is going to get a clear run up front. Werrell, Sala, Schaufler, Hanna, Kostoya, Montero, and Stepan Antonov. Antonov is coming. He is charging his way through the field, Stepan Antonov. Up into 8th place now. The Kart Republic driver might suddenly become a factor in this.
Definitely so. Maybe he did look after those tyres a little more than we thought, and he's making his way through the field. Schaufler defense from Kostoya is down the inside there. One of the other Kart Republic karts just going through. Montero, I think that is, in the 2-4-3. Trying to make moves as well. Now
Antonov's
he does.
Got him.
Yeah, Antonov through he goes. And like you say, making several moves. He's up into P7 here.
Do not count out Stepan Antonov. The 252 is making the mother of all comebacks. Dead last in qualifying. And now he has worked his way through to the top 10 in the SuperHeat B. He may just have a shot of a relatively decent starting position for the final. And if he has that with this kind of speed, anything is possible. Schaufler still dueling away with Tame Saleh as Lewis Werrell extends his gap over the 3rd position man. And Werrell has his sights firmly set on Bondarev up front.
Marius Barryberg making moves there, getting past Kamyab through to the final section of the track.
Antonov makes up another, past Hanna now, up to 6th place.
On a charge here is Stepan Antonov.
For the lead.
And yes, through turn 1, brilliant move there from Werrell. And I don't think Tame Saleh or Bondarev just knew when that was going to come, because like you say, Bondarev has been so quick this weekend and he's made some brilliant moves. He's not able to react straight away back, but is he going to react here? No, he can't. Werrell holds on to that lead. This is good stuff from Lewis.
This is crucial, though, for Bondarev. He really wants to win this one to secure 3rd position on the final grid. That would give him a perfect opportunity to take on Kaczynski and Ramikas for the final. So this is a big moment for Bondarev. He needs to get back on terms with Werrell. Werrell is only looking at about 6th or 7th on the grid. So this is a bigger opportunity for Bondarev than it is for Lewis Werrell right now. But look at Stepan Antonov. P6, right in behind Kostoya. Schaufler and Saleh are battling for 3rd position. Antonov could make the top 3 in this superheat, and then all bets are off.
Exactly. All better. A mistake there from Schaufler as Saleh looks to the inside line in towards turn 1. Keep an eye on, though, behind, because Kostoya goes through as well. And keep an eye on Antonov. He gets involved side by side. Ooh. And Schaufler nearly getting run off the road down the inside. Antonov goes through, and he gets up now into P5.
This is an unbelievable turn of events for Stepan Antonov. Now Montoya gets the move on Schaufler. Lindblom's trying to hold off Kamyab. Kamyab comes through. No, that's Salim Hanna. My apologies. Lindblom, Delakian, Kamyab, Wolf and Skudinov all giving chase. But somehow Stepan Antonov has worked his way through now to 5th position. He is not done. If anything, his weekend just got started.
Very much so. Eyes at the front as well, though. It's still closing in. It's down the inside. Dan Delakian making moves there. Brilliant stuff. He's up now past Scott Lindblom into P9. So moves happening all the way through the field. But eyes on this sort of front pack.
Martinez.
I was speaking about him at the start of this race. He was one of the drivers who's had such a good recovery. And there, that's a Falcon that's off the track. It's the 231.
It's Jason Bralic.
Oh, what a nightmare for him. And he's not happy. He's gesticulating at someone there. So was he assisted?
Very unfortunate for Jason Bralic. Not the way he wanted his weekend to work out. Now, Tame Saleh, 3rd position as we watch Bralic going over to the marshal post. You've got to stay and watch for the rest of the race. Unfortunately, now, Tame, there's another yellow flag out at that point. I think we've had somebody else go off. Yes, there's a Tony Kart that's off to the sidelines. I'm trying to figure out who that is, but we've lost the Tony Kart in the middle of all of that. I think it's Scott Lindblom. I think Lindblom's gone from the fray. That's the 242. Yeah, it's Lindblom.
Oh, what a disaster.
Well, very unfortunate indeed for the Swede. Scott Lindblom, one of the fastest drivers in the junior category, is out of the SuperHeat B, and that ruins his chances of a decent starting position for the final.
Well, drama all the way throughout this race, but the race goes on. We're on lap 8 of 11 here now, and Kostoya all over the back of Tame Soleil.
But look at Antonov all over the back of Kostoya.
Exactly, I was about to say, Antonov here has had a brilliant run. We were concerned about the tyres, but I don't think he's concerned as he goes down the inside of Kostoya and gets up now into P4. An absolute charge here from Stefan Antonov.
Stefan Antonov is proving to be an absolute gladiator right now. Just before the final, he is booking himself as high a position on the grid as he possibly can, and he is knocking on the door of a top 10 start here. He's not quite going to have enough points in the bag to do so, but if he's got this kind of pace after 5 qualifying heats, how much pace is he going to have in the final?
On a fresh set of boots as well, he might do just all right. Across the start-finish line they go then. Werrell still leads by half a second now from Bondarev. Tame Soleil still there in P3, but Antonov is charging here, and this is the battle you're watching on your screen. Tame Soleil just there as a warning flag goes out to Daniel Delakian for the 4.93. Werrell once again fastest lap of the race as well. But eyes on this battle. Tame Soleil under pressure here as down the inside goes Antonov. No time delay, but instantly Soleil fights back. Back down the inside, holds onto it. Keep an eye, though, because Kostoya is trying to fight back as well. This is getting very interesting. And back down the inside goes Antonov into the next chicane. And it's a beautiful move. And nothing right now is stopping Antonov.
3rd position for Stepan Antonov in the SuperHeat B. That is monstrous. Absolutely terrific from the Kart Republic as he works his way through the field from the back in Friday qualifying. And now here he is in SuperHeat B in 3rd position. Watch out, everybody. He is going to be a big threat in the final. Here comes Kostoya on the inside of Tame Soleil. Dives his way through into 4th position. Kostoya keeping the flags of Spain flying high here in Valencia. And Noah Montero now getting onto the back of Kostoya. These Kart Republics are charging. Bondarev, Antonov, Montero. Watch for Noah Montero now make his bid on the inside of Tame Soleil. He can't make it through in the left-hander. Schaufler down to 7th. Hanna in 8th. Kamyab 9th. Skulinov in 10th position. But there are some big shuffles now. And it looks to me as though Bondarev and Soleil are going to finish on the same points. That means that Bondarev will go on 4th on the grid for the final. Soleil will have to go 3rd, which is great news for Soleil. But if he loses one more place, then it's all gone. No, he's just lost that place to Kostoya. So Soleil, if he stays where he is going to go on the 2nd row of the grid on the outside, not the inside. This is still good news for Bondarev, not so good for Soleil. Final lap.
Yep, let's do it. Cross the line, the points update. And yeah, like you say, he goes down into P4, so he'll start on the outside row. And that's a disaster because, like you say, you don't want to be starting on that outside row as much as you possibly can. You want to get that inside line. He has had to work for that one. Stefan Antonov, fastest lap of the race. Again, like you say, he's pushed it so hard. But he's still got the momentum here in this one. But nothing has stopped this man here, Lewis Werrell. After this amount of racing, he's had a brilliant race so far, hasn't he?
The perfect moment to unleash what you can do. Lewis Werrell, just in time for the final, books himself a place on the first 3 rows. It's been a very calm and composed SuperHeat for Lewis Werrell in the Forza Racing Expert. Looking good all the way to the finish line here. Lewis Werrell, quiet, calm, smooth, consistent. And now he'll come through to take the biggest win of his career so far. The SuperHeat leading to the final here in Valencia. Great job for Lewis Werrell. Out in front of Alexander Bondarev and Stepan Antonov. 3rd position, having been dead last and disqualified from qualifying, now has worked his way through to the front. Antonov has unlocked the pace that could make him a serious threat come the final.
Yes, indeed. He won't be starting within the top 12 out there. Actually, he, unfortunately, for Antonov, but
he didn't start in the top 12 in this either.
No, he didn't. And also, he had a bad qualifying. Oh, end
that's
of the
a
race.
last corner moment. That's Nikita Nikishov.
Yeah. Well, that's not gone well. And Nikita Nikishov will not be happy with that one.
I think he's tangled in the final turn with Kit Belovsky, unfortunately. Belovsky was the last one across the line after a poor third sector. So Belovsky and Nikishov coming together in the final lap of the final race before the final.
Now is provisional. There's a look then at the classifications at the end of SuperHeat B. Lewis Werrell for Forza Racing will take the win from Alexander Bondarev. Stefan Antonov rounds out the top three from Christian Costoya, Tame Soleil and Noah Montero. Nicholas Schaufler and Salim Hanna round out the top 8 from Roman Kamyev, Grayson Skulinov and Alp Aksoy. Noah Wolf just finishes just behind from David Cosmo, 11 positions for Cosmo. The same with Aksoy, 10 positions gained. Tiziano Monza rounds out the top 14 from Augustus Toniolo, Eldis, Clark, Mins and Bolosky at the end of that one. Few retirements, Nikita Nikishov, Lindblom, Bralic and Martinez at the end. Here's a look then at some of the highlights from that race. And again, it was a pretty clean start from the entire field. A couple of drivers taking to the dust on the runoff area and a couple taking to the curb. Some big moments there. Drivers getting some air. Tame Soleil held on to the race lead for some time as we saw this great battle between these two. Schaufler, unfortunately, just dropped down the order in that race. He had a brilliant battle with Salim Hanna all the way throughout and straight back through as well. This is where Werrell started to make his moves up and he came in towards P4 and then P3 as Bondarev was making moves. He then took the lead of the race fairly early on. And that is where we saw Tame Soleil start to fall down the order. Salim Hanna back down the inside and battling away with Costoya, but Costoya managing to get the jump on this one. This was the move for the race lead, though. Werrell taking that one and holding on to it. And again, Tame Soleil going for the move, and this is where Schaufler lost, I think, 3 positions in the space of 2 corners, which was a huge shame. I think the tyres just not working this time around for Tame Soleil, which was a big shame. This was the moment there that we saw some more action. One of the Falcons going off the track, and yeah, Jensen Bralic not a fan of that one. He was very upset when he had to leave that race. And again, the battles just went on and on throughout that one. Noah Montero making moves all the way through the field as well. So big movers, big shake-ups in the field at the end of this race. And that's going to make the final later on a very interesting one, as again, Costoya was battling away with Soleil, but nothing could stop Lewis Werrell, who crossed the line. He wins, and he starts the final later on the 6th spot of the grid.